everybody!
It's time for the monthly book
It is time for the monthly book haul. Yes, look at the greedy hands.
Well, there's something in this book haul that is extremely special, and I'm very excited about it. But we're not going to get to that until much later, so we're just going to kick things off the way we usually do by sectioning everything into
his and hers, and the whole this is what married vlogging looks like. So let's start with review books, I want to say.
We're going to start with review books. So stuff that we are very lucky to be getting from publishers. We love being able to work with publishers and to talk about books that we may not have even heard about before. So this book came in the mail unsolicited, and it just seems like the type of book Maki would read, honestly, so. Yeah,
and it might kind of trigger some old grade school feels, because this is Nina Soni, Former Best Friend, by Kashmir Sheth, and illustrated by Jen Kazimierski.
So maybe it's a no, it's not a graphic.
It's probably no. It's just one of those kind of middle grade books that have drawings in them. I'm gonna assume that this is about kind of friendships that sort of went sour sort of at that age, and I'm like, who hasn't been there? Haven't
relatable.
Left. I haven't left. Yeah, this would sort of be on
really short.
And it's short too, so it just gives you that nice feeling of it'll trick your brain into thinking, I accomplished something, because that's the level. So that one was from Peachtree, I want to say.
Yeah, Peachtree Publishing.
Cool. This one's from Tor, and that's always fun. It's called Heartwood Box by Anna Gire. So also unsolicited, I want to say. Yeah. There are no murders on the books, no suicides either. They write in the paper that this is the safest town in New York State, but here people just vanish.
Ooh, creepy.
So yeah, another one of those murder mystery kind of thing. In this tiny, terrifying town, the lost are never found.
Creepy.
So yeah, a lot of murder disappearances. So
might be good for October, maybe.
Yeah, might definitely. Ooh, this would be a good Halloween TBR.
Right.
Which I still have a few Tor books that
might fit that category.
Definitely might fit that category. Shadow Scent by P.M. Freestone. I believe this is from Scholastic, and it's one of those things where Raquel has this gift for fragrances, and she can sort of put scents together, and she's got that alchemy thing going on for her for that. Ash, on the other hand, it's like a disgraced imperial bodyguard, I want to say, and they're sort of there you go. Little imperial kind of that's kind of, and obviously their paths intertwine when they have to do some kind of crazy mission that requires both of their skills and possible redemption or absolute abject complete failure in the end of their lives as they know it. Typical trope, but nice play on the whole sense and crazy vicious rim, it's sense and sensibility. Anyway, and then lastly, but certainly not leastly, that's a new word now, we got a finished copy of The Firekeeper in the mail, which is great. Book 2 of the Stormrunner series by J.C. Cervantes, which again, it's a Riordan imprint, which means in the vein of Percy Jackson, there is a young middle grade kind of character who discovers that he has a connection to the divine. In this case, it is the Mayan gods, I want to say.
Yes.
So, you've got the goddess of chocolate, Ishkakau, and then obviously he has his own connections to sort of the bigger elder gods, and so this is book 2 after the insane events of book 1, which I totally love. This is coming out in September, I want to say, and is actually going to be seen on my TBR pile that you guys are going to be seeing probably after this video goes up.
But it also came with this helpful bumper sticker that says, She-Home, the Shaman Institute of Higher Order Magic, and a matching baseball cap.
That's right.
Isn't it great?
It's the She-Home cap.
Actually, there's going to be a giveaway for this book on the blog coming up in the early weeks of September, so definitely look out for that. It actually matches your outfit. So.
It matches my outfit. All right, what do you get in the mail? As if I got that in the mail. She got that in the mail.
To be fair, I got a lot of things that I was not expecting to get in the mail, review-wise, so we're going to talk about a couple of the most exciting things for me. So a friend of mine passed on an art copy of Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which is out in October.
I just love it when friends share.
I know, and I'm going to be sharing this with my friends right after. So this is Leigh's highly anticipated adult debut novel. It's been getting a lot of praise lately.
Critically acclaimed.
It's been a very interesting response, really. On the whole, it's been very mixed for her readers. I'm not sure where I'm going to fall personally. It's set at Yale, and it follows a main character named Galaxy, or Alex, that's her nickname, and she is invited to come to Yale and to investigate some of the secret societies that are in Yale. So I've heard that there are a lot of content warnings for this one, because obviously it's a mystery with a paranormal aspect, an adult mystery with a paranormal aspect, so you can imagine that there's probably going to be a lot of gruesome stuff in here. So I am prepared for that, but I just wanted to mention that to everyone as well. You guys will be getting my thoughts on this, because this one is definitely going on my TBR as well. This one is from Wednesday Books, and the moment I got it, I immediately read it, because predictable, and I've been waiting for this book ever since it was officially announced. The book is called Where Dreams Descend, and this is by Janella Angeles, and I hate to tell you guys that you have to wait until the summer of 2020. I'm pretty sure it's like June 2020 to get your hands on this, but it was so much fun. It's a story a fantasy story that is set in a world that is sort of inspired by Moulin Rouge, Phantom of the Opera. That kind of like vibe,
Vein.
so very showman and showmanship based. It's about a female magician named Kalia. She's 17 years old, and all she's known is a very small private sort of world where she lives in this house that's secluded in the middle of the forest, and every night she performs for the patrons who come to visit the Hellfire House. That's what it's called. And she just wants more, like she wants to experience more. And so when the opportunity comes for her to escape the house and to go to a nearby city called Gloria, she decides to take that chance and to participate in this competition for magicians. If you win, obviously you get all of this fame and whatever comes with it. And she, as someone who has always wanted to make a name for herself, definitely wants to take part in this. Only female magicians are not necessarily considered meant for showmanship, they're meant more for labor. So she has to fight every single step of the way for her right to be in this competition, but crazy things start happening to the people she's competing with and in the town of Glorian. And so it sounds like there's a lot of things in it, and it's true because it draws so much inspiration from so many of my favorite fantasy stories, whether it's in TV, movies, or books. But it was so much fun to read, and when I got to the ending of it, I was so mad that I had read it so early, because I was like, and then I have to wait for it to come out, and then I have to wait for the next book to come out, because then I'm never gonna know what's gonna happen until then. But it was very, very good, so definitely add this one to your TBR if you haven't already. One of the other books that I'm very excited about is also a very far off into the future release, and it's a book called A Golden Fury by Samantha Coho. This is set in 1792 in England, I want to say, and it is about a teenage alchemist who is on the verge of a discovery that's going to change the entire course of history. I apparently like stories about alchemists. Who knew? And I have been so excited for this one for a very long time. This one is even farther in terms of on-sale date. It's in October 2020, and I feel so lucky to have this early copy. But yeah, sometimes I feel bad sharing about these things, but then I want you guys to get excited too, so get excited with me. I'll let you guys know how this one is. We also got 2 samplers, which I also got at Book Expo, and I'm pretty sure I showed, but just to quickly show you as well. So there is a sampler for Rebel by Marie Lu. This is her 4th novel in the Legend world. It's not necessarily a direct sequel to the first trilogy. It's set after that, so any of the effects of the events in that trilogy are obviously in this one. But this one also combines a little bit of the elements that you see in Warcross, which I am very excited about because I love the Warcross duology, so very exciting. And then we have a sampler of Supernova by Marissa Meyer. This is the 3rd and final book in her Renegade series. I have only ever read book 1. I enjoyed it. I still haven't moved on to book 2. Should probably just binge it when it comes out. But yeah, this one is out in, I want to say October or November? I think November. So get excited. All right, we're gonna try to run quickly through these because some of them I knew that were coming for me and some of them I had no idea were gonna show up in the mail. So first is a romance novel, care of Avon Books, and that book is The Duchess in His Bed, a Sin for All Seasons novel by Lorraine Heath. I have never read anything by Lorraine Heath, but this seems to be like your typical historical romance fodder there. I also got, for the first time ever, something in the mail from Tor.com. I have never gotten anything from Tor.com ever until now, and it's a book called Riot Baby by Tochi Onyebuchi, and this is a novella. As you can see, it's a little short. I will honestly tell you, I do not know anything past the title and the author of this novella. I am familiar with Tochi Onyebuchi because Maki has actually read the debut YA novel that this author came out with, Beast Made of Night. I have heard this one being talked about by a couple of my friends, so definitely gonna be
very exciting, very exciting.
We have 2 books that I was kind enough to be sent by Page Street Books, which are pretty exciting. So first we have Beyond the Shadowed Earth, which has this amazing cover.
I know, it's gorgeous.
And it's "A pact with a god demands a heavy price" is the tagline. There is a girl who has made a pact with a god, with the god of the mountain is what it says, to rule half the world. And so now she's trying to confront the god to take back what's rightfully hers in terms of like what she's ruling.
I know a couple of people who cut that deal.
Interesting. And then this book also has a beautiful cover. It is Night Spinner by Addie Thorley, and this one says it's a must-read for fans of Leigh Bardugo's Grishaverse, transforming the Hunchback of Notre Dame into a tundra-inspired epic. First of all, I have never seen any book use the Hunchback of Notre Dame as a comp title, which interests me already. It sounds really good, has an amazing cover, cannot wait to get to it. Another romance novel, How to Catch a Wicked Viscount by Amy Rose Bennett. This is a finished copy. I'm pretty sure I talked about this one before. I think it's the first book in the Disreputable Debutante series. I'm pretty sure that the main character gets up to shenanigans, at least whatever shenanigans are in her particular timeline. Falls in love somewhere along the way.
Gee, with a Viscount?
I guess. Then from Source Books, I have 2 books. First we have What Kind of Girl by Alyssa Scheinmel, and I've never read anything by this author, but it says, Girl in Pieces meets Moxie in this unflinching exploration of the many forms of abuse women may face and the strength it takes to recognize and claim your worth.
Wow, sounds heavy.
It sounds heavy. I think her other book was actually pretty heavy as well. I really enjoyed Moxie, have not read Girl in Pieces, but I'm definitely going to be checking this one out. It is out, next year, February 2020, so I've got a while to go before that one. The next one I'm very excited about. It's Wicked As You Wish by Rin Chupeco. This one is out in March of 2020.
We got one.
And it's an unforgettable alternative history fairy tale series from the author of the Bone Witch trilogy about found family, modern day magic, and finding the place where you belong. So it's basically about these fairy tale characters who got displaced from their kingdom, the kingdom of Avalon, and they're stuck in Arizona, of all places. They're stuck in Arizona. Basically, he's hiding in this town, and this town is so boring that magic doesn't work there, but he doesn't actually know that his friend Tala, she's called a spellbreaker, and she can negate magic.
Nice.
So there's basically one day a chance encounter that gives them hope that they could potentially go back to Avalon, but then they have to follow a sort of quest journey, and I love it, and I'm living for it. I cannot wait to read it. From Orbit Books, thanks to Paola, who is extremely kind and very generous. I received a copy of this book and I'm very much looking forward to reading it. Queen of the Conquered by Payson Calendar, I want to say. Payson Calendar is the author's updated identifier. It's a vengeance story inspired by Curvian mythology, I want to say, and it's the kind of fantasy that features colonizers and the colonized at odds, which to me is always interesting. Like, I don't normally go for the more political types of fantasies, but I'm always interested in stories like this because the country that we both obviously come from
has a history of colonization.
Has a very long history of colonization. Hundreds and hundreds of years.
300 years.
300 years is Spanish. We haven't even touched the rest of it.
Yeah, it's about
yeah, so it was a good amount of years that we were colonized by different powerful first world countries. So I'm going to be very interested in seeing how this story played out. This one did not know was coming at all, but it's very pretty. It's called The Vine Witch by Luann G. Smith, and this one is from 47 North, so Amazon Publishing, I think. It says, a young witch emerges from a curse to find her world upended in this gripping fantasy of betrayal, vengeance, and self-discovery set in turn-of-the-century France. Never heard of this book, actually, but that particular one-liner blurb sounds pretty good. You will always find me partial to stories in France. That's just the thing for me. And stories about witches, which is also a thing for me, so definitely checking this out. Thank you, thank you. This one I think Mackie will also want to read, actually, because it looks really good.
Oh my god. I just kind of want to steal it from you already.
Novice Dragoneer by E.E. Knight, and this is from Ace Books. The blurb on the front actually says, deep and thoughtful, this is for anyone who fell in love with Tamara Pierce's Alana, which is why I thought of Mackie immediately. So basically, it's about a 14-year-old orphan, and this orphan has dreamed of serving with dragons ever since she was a child who met this silver dragon and the woman who was the Dragoneer.
See this?
Partner with it.
It's like, it's almost Kristen Taylor to destroy me.
And then she runs away to become a novice Dragoneer at the ancient human dragon fortress of the Serpentine. And so she obviously is going there without any actual support and has to fight every day for her place in that world, and it sounds so good. I'm sure Mackie's gonna want to read it, so all yours. Another Finnish paranormal romance that I got in the mail. I have never read anything by this author duo. I do want to, though, because I have a lot of friends who have told me to do so, like my friend Chachik from Chachik's Book Nook, and I also have Steph Garber telling me to read this, so
it's an Alona Andrews book.
It's an Alona Andrews book. It's called Sapphire Flames. I'm not going to look at the summary because I know this is a sequel. This is not the first book in this trilogy series. Not sure which one it is. But I definitely intend to check out their work. Maybe I will get to this book one day. We'll see. Slightly dented because of, you know, mail. But it's a book called The Right Swipe. This is a Finnish copy by Alicia Rai. This is a romantic comedy that has like a matchmaking app aspect to it, which
sure,
I'm here for. Like, I'll read it. I'm good. This, on the other hand, I knew was coming. These are Finnish copies of two books that I'm very excited about. So the first is Well Met by Jen DeLuca. This is a romantic comedy set at a Ren fair over the course of a summer in a small town. It's great. It's got a hate to love romance in it. Well, not really hate, maybe like a dislike to love romance in it, which is very cute, and there's a lot of banter in it. The whole Ren fair setting was really great, and the small town setting was also very great. So I'm gonna have a full review for that up at some point on the blog, but suffice to say, I loved it, so I'm so happy to have a finished copy of it. And that one's from Berkeley, by the way. And then this one is also from Berkeley. It's a Finnish copy of Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. Historical romance where a woman is trying to recruit rich, powerful men to champion the women's suffrage movement. Very excited to read it, cannot wait. Two more Finnish copies. So first is This finished copy from Freeform Books, Disney, City of Beasts, Cory Rang. I talked about this one before. It's a sibling story where a girl gets separated from her younger brother, I want to say, and she has to go across the river into a city that's deemed dangerous in order to rescue him. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but this cover is really cool. And then, last but not least, HarperCollins was kind enough to send me a book by an author that I have been meaning to try for a while. It is called Leilani of the Distant Sea by Erin Entrada Kelly. Filipino-inspired middle grade fantasy story. Sounds great to me, so I will be reading it. It came with this pretty cool print. It says, enter the world of San Lagita in Leilani of the Distant Sea by Erin Entrada Kelly, and it's like a map. So.
And a letter from the author,
yeah,
right at the back, so that's very interesting.
It's gonna be so fun. Okay, that was the end of my review section. It was quite hefty considering I did not expect a lot.
There's a considerable heft to the mail that has come in.
Tell me about it.
Alrighty, I had a tiny little Kindle binge because either stuff finally came in the thing because I pre-ordered them, or I saw them and I'm like, I'm taking that one, and because there were sales everywhere and everybody knows here that are super cheap. So here we go. We're gonna start with the ones that weren't on sale. Witcher fever has taken over this house for a little bit, thanks to no small part in on Kristen's side, because Kristen has told Alexa, you should read this, and I played the game a couple of, well, you know, just the one time, and now I'm on my second playthrough. So I bought The Last Wish and Sword of Destiny. If you want to read Witcher chronologically, from the Witcher series, you're going to want to start with those two books. Witcher is a story about a man named Geralt of Rivia who is a Witcher by trade. Witchers are taken as young boys and subjected to insane amounts of, like, torturous change through the application of chemicals, and if they survive, they become witchers who are preternaturally equipped to deal with, and that's what they are, they're mercenaries to deal with monsters. They're hired to kill monsters, basically. And the coolest part about this series being in the grimdark genre is that many times it's not the monsters who are actually the real monsters, and it's the human beings who are hired to do the Witcher. So that's a nice play on things. Good. Add the layer of them exploring these themes through the lens of famous fairy tales, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, The Little Mermaid, all that kind of stuff. It just makes for such a great storytelling, and so I bought those two books because it's so much fun. David Baldacci's book, some of you know me and my love for David Baldacci, and his I've coined the approachable assassin genre. It's called The Long Road to Mercy. It's a new book, which is about a new character named Adley Pine. She's a young girl who remembers her vividly her twin sister being kidnapped. Her life has been shaped and molded by that, and now years later she finds maybe a way back to solving that mystery, which I think anything David Baldacci at this point in time for me, if the theme and the story plot kind of speak to me, has never been a disappointment. There's a ton of other books out there that I just don't have the time to try right now, but the few that I've really sort of picked up and decided to branch out of the approachable assassin genre have been extremely just yummy for me personally, and who knew I would like sort of grown up writing. Following three books were on, four books were on sale for like $2 on Kindle. I'm just like, I'm taking that. Starting with Garth Nix, who tweeted that, hey, Sabriel's on sale for $1.99. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't have Sabriel on my Kindle, even if I've bought basically like several versions of the books over time.
We have a lot of them. Just
because I just love the series, so I have Sabriel, which is book one of the Aberzin trilogy. Sorry, Abhorzin, that's how they pronounce it. I used to think, ooh, Aberzin, cool. It's like, but it's like a play on the word abhor. Ari Salvatore's Timeless, which focuses on one of the more famous characters, Drizzt, who was a dark elf in Dungeons and Dragons mythology.
We actually own that one too.
We own that one. Christian Andrew gave it to me, but now that I see a cheaper way to carry that book around with me, I'm just like, hey, I'm not against, that's $2, that's fine, I'll do that. Lev Grossman's The Magicians also was on sale, so I bought book one, and I thought,
is he finally gonna read it?
I know, will this be the year? So that's that. Now that I'm carrying it around with me everywhere I go, maybe. Finally, Dragon Slippers by Jessica Day George. She's like a cute middle grade book. I didn't even bother to read it because that's on sale, I'm taking it. Ravnica, War of the Spark by Greg Weishen, which stars some of the famous planeswalkers in the new Magic the Gathering, which works well because I also bought Rise of the Gatewatch, which I made Alexa read also, very quick book. I had reviewed it recently in a What We Read because it was that kind of a quick trip, but yeah, it's just a nice combination picture book / I've coined, I'm sure this term has been used before, but I associate it with, I don't know if I'm using it right, but I'm using it, micro storytelling, where you've got just like quotes and blurbs and pictures and random plot points that you put together in an orderly fashion that gives people an idea of this is what's happened in the world so far. And I've been a fan of Magic the Gathering and their lore for a while. War of the Spark, I think, is the larger story around how these powerful beings who have the capacity to defend the helpless across different planes, form something called Gatewatch, where they want to make sure that terrible, terrible things like, for example, a giant elder dragon who has been around forever and is also a planeswalker, who wants to wreak havoc and take over the multiverse, they're like, no, we won't let you do that. And so that is what War of the Spark is. Ending my haul at this point in time would have to be books 1 and 6, Light Novel 1 and Light Novel 6 of the Rise of the Shield Hero series. Alexa and I have started the Rise of the Shield Hero series. Apparently it was an anime that I want to say started in January and ended its 25 episode first or second season run, just roughly nowabouts. It's a nice complete story. Interestingly enough, my brother and I got into that too. So he binged it, I binged it, we're both done. And I think the if I'm not mistaken, the first light novel, that's where it was based, just like Sword Art Online, it was based on a light novel. It came out in 2014, I want to say 2015. And I'm just like, what? And just like Sword Art Online, also, it's a story about a guy who gets ported. It's like Fushigi Yugi meets Sword Art Online meets Dungeons and Dragons. Because the legend in the land that they get ported into, he's from Earth. He gets ported into this world with 3 other heroes. Yep. He gets a shield, the other heroes get a sword, spear, and a bow each. And they're the legendary weapon heroes that come from another world who will save them from the evil waves of terrible destruction that come and wreak havoc, right? He gets the shaft, quite literally, in so many ways. There's conspiracy against him, and it's really just a root for the underdog kind of story, which we absolutely adore and love. I've never been more infuriated in my life. And I need to know what the hell happens next. And apparently, the anime ends on its 25th episode right along the lines of the 6th light novel. And for those of you who don't know, light novels are
so it's a completed series as well.
No, it's ongoing.
Ah.
Which is terrible because I'm like...
so the 6 is the latest.
6 is where the anime stops. But in Japan right now, they're up to the 21st volume.
And it's not manga, it's
light novels. It's light novels, and so it's up to the 21st volume of the light novels. It's translated up to, I want to say, the 16th, and the manga is up to the 10th volume, which I think is just following the anime series. So in this case, the light novel came first. I think the manga sort of came as an adaptation in tandem with it, and so that's pretty much that. So we're collecting all of that stuff, and it's gonna be great.
We are. In this tiny section, well, tinier section, is all of the stuff that I got as presents during the month of August, which I'm very lucky and grateful for. Anissa, who I finally got to meet for the first time this year at Book Expo and BookCon, and is really great. She is one of the owners of Fairy Loot. She sent me the Fairy Loot edition of Girls of Paper and Fire, which is gorgeous. It has the pink sprayed edges. Well, this is still the actual cover, but like it's a little bit more neon. And I love it because it's going to match their edition of the sequel, Girls of Storm and Shadow, which has a blue sprayed edge.
Nice.
Cannot wait. Girls of Paper and Fire is by Natasha Nyan, and it is an Asian-inspired story where there is a world where there are different castes. Every year there are 8 girls who are given over to the Beast King as his concubines. And this year there just happens to be a 9th girl, the main character in our book, because reasons. And so when she is there acting as one of the paper girls, the concubines, she sort of has a variety of relationships with the other paper girls, but then she also uncovers the fact that there is a secret revolution intent on sort of equalizing things for everyone.
That's kind of
There is also a female-female romance, which was done really, really well, and I really enjoyed it. And the way this one ends, I was like, I'm sorry, where's book 2? So I'm very excited because it's almost time for that one, so I cannot wait. Next, we have a book that my friend Pat gave me after she read it. She bought it during her recent trip to Europe, and it is a book called How to Stop Time by Matt Haig, which has a really cute cover. I did not realize there were so many like little icons in it. I actually don't know that much about this book, but I will read it because Pat has slowly started getting back into reading fiction novels and novels in general. And she and I actually used to share a very, very strong, and we still share a very strong love for Harry Potter. It was one of the things that first cemented our friendship in the early days. So anything she reads and enjoys, I will be likely to give a shot as well. So it's about a main character named Tom Hazard. He looks like he's an ordinary 41-year-old, but apparently he's been alive for centuries. And so there's a secret, there's a secret society called the Albatross Society that protects those kinds of people, but they have one rule, and that's to never fall in love. And obviously, what happens in the book is he ends up falling in love, and so
Of course,
repercussions.
that's where it takes us, right? Why not? That's the lore, that's the story.
And then my friend Mel from Mel to the Annie sent me
Thank you!
the Avatar: The Last Airbender Lost Adventures comics, which I have no idea what it's about. They have different, I think they're short comics that follow different like questions you might have about different aspects of the Avatar world.
Yeah, we have that
that
on
are
digital too,
unanswered.
but it's so nice
I
like
just
to
love
hold
having
them.
the physical thing. If you guys didn't know, Mac and I are huge Avatar: The Last Airbender fans. I have been
Massive.
campaigning to rewatch the entire series for a while now.
That's true, we have to. We're long overdue.
We are long overdue for that because it's such a good series, especially because they're now planning to do a live action reboot type thing on Netflix with the original creators
Thank God.
helming, which I have a lot more faith in than the movie that doesn't exist. And then my friend Kelly got me this edition of Anne of Green Gables by Alan Montgomery.
It's lovely.
It is so. Kelly is a kindred spirit for me, so it makes so much sense that she would also get me an edition of Anne at some point in our friendship. This is a beautiful edition. I actually have, I'm pretty sure, the Secret Garden in this edition and a Little Princess maybe in this edition. So pretty, so illustrated.
Rounds at the collection.
You guys have heard me talk about Anne of Green Gables before. It's the story of an orphan girl named Anne who ends up accidentally adopted by a bachelor brother and sister
In a small town.
in a small town. And even though at first they didn't plan on her, they end up growing to love her and she becomes a part of their family. And it's great. And you read the whole series and then you die because feelings.
That's true.
My friend Andy sent this arc over after I tweeted one day to get thriller and mystery recommendations from my sister Mel. She said that we should read The Best Lies by Sarah Liu. Don't know anything about it, except that it is a YA novel that is a mystery, but also has a friendship aspect to it, so
Cool.
can't wait. And then this one was a gift from DJ for my birthday, and it's called Pearls on a Branch, Oral Tales translated from Arabic. So I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce the author's name, but DJ knows that I collect all sorts of like mythology, fairy tales, stories, all of that good stuff. No, you can't see the shelf. There's a shelf full of that kind of stuff, and I don't actually have anything that has Arabic folklore or tales in it, so I'm very glad to own this now.
Awesome.
So Mackie's gonna move on to his last section.
So I renewed my Marvel Unlimited membership this year, at much pain to my wallet, but they gave me a Venom box, which is kind of really cool, and I just wanted to kind of unbox it really quick. Usually when you get a Marvel Unlimited box, you're gonna get an action figure, a couple of kind of limited edition kind of comics, nothing too pricey, just they don't print that stuff anymore. Or maybe they are not limited edition, I just don't know that they aren't. And then something here or there. As you unbox, the thing that made me happiest was that you get a free Marvel phone case from Skinit. And you just have to type your stuff in, type your order, and there's a ton of options. What I actually got and opted for was the X-Men cover.
Obviously.
So I kind of retired my
So
Captain
rad.
America phone case and got this Skinit X-Men cover anyway. So thank you Marvel Unlimited for that. You open the box, it says We Are Venom because that's the brand. Nice little letter as always. Thank you for joining, blah blah blah. This is about Venom, etc etc. And surprise surprise, what do we have on file? We have, ooh, the Venomized Black Panther thing with a whole list of Marvel Unlimited titles. We have Venom #1, which I think is super awesome right there. It's got the Venom logo under Marvel Unlimited, and if you open up, pop the bottom open,
Oh my god.
you get a Fantastic Four patch, which I don't know where to put, but I need it so much because I have loved the Fantastic Four for a while now. You have a Ben Grimm pin. Maybe this is in
Aw.
celebration of the Fantastic Four coming back. I don't know.
And
it's the Venom Punisher, not because it's got the Punisher skull. So it's, my God, it's Frank Castle with a symbiote. That's the only thing worse than Frank Castle with this symbiote is Frank Castle with Carnage, because that's just gonna be dead. So that was kind of cool. I thought that was awesome. I mean, the couple of other boxes I got in the last couple of years was Tony Stark in like civilian wear, and the one before that was Pepper Potts Rescue. So in the suit, not the blue one that we saw on TV, but the comics version. So that's my Marvel Unlimited haul. I do so love these boxes because it does make you feel like your 6-month delayed comics subscription means something. So more than the fact that you're 6 months behind. I'm living in the past, guys, when it comes to Marvel.
time travel.
I would rather subscribe and read everything rather than spend that same amount of money and read just a few things. This is everything. So from 6 months prior. So that's its own thing.
So I was unable to actually go to this romance event that was happening at Barnes & Noble in July, but my friend Melissa went, and she
Hooray.
was kind enough to get me a couple of books signed. So she picked up 2 Julia Quinn books because, first of all, let's pause and all appreciate the fact that the Bridgerton series is coming to Netflix. It's going to be an 8-episode short series. The cast has been announced. Shonda Land is producing it. It's going to be exciting as all heck. I'm here for it. Anyway, she got me 2 books. She got me The Viscount Who Loved Me and Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, which is my favorite. and she got them signed for me, which like I never have had a Julia Quinn signed book, so like
I was about to ask a Rosen Island question. It's like, who signed? It's like Julia Quinn.
I love it. I love it. These are part of the Bridgerton series, obviously. This is the book about Anthony Bridgerton. This is the second book in the series, and he is the eldest brother, and he and this young lady named Kate don't get along quite well at the beginning of this story, but by the end of it, they probably do. I mean, it is a romance after all.
Right.
And then Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, I think it's the fourth book in the series. This is my favorite. It is about the third oldest brother. His name is Colin, and he ends up having a romance with his younger sister's best friend, aka my favorite trope of all time.
There you go.
And then, because I really want to start the series, the Reluctant Royal series by Alyssa Cole, she also got me a copy of A Princess in Theory. This is a modern day contemporary series that involves a romance between I'm pretty sure most of the heroines are like either businesswomen or they have careers in STEM, which is interesting to me. This one is sort of like a Cinderella story, which I'm like here for. Cannot wait to read it.
Awesome.
I also had a pre-order come in. Shocker, it's Yona of the Dawn. I feel like almost every 3 months there's always a new one. So this is volume 19.
Yes, more Yona.
Wait. I have only read up until volume 5, even though technically that part is still covered by the anime.
Stories are an investment. Good stories are an investment.
So gonna keep going so I can finally get to this at some point this year. And then another pre-order that came in is The Downstairs Girl by Stacey Lee. I have read and adored all of Stacey Lee's novels. I think they are great. She has one contemporary novel, but most of her novels are historical fiction featuring voices that you might not necessarily have heard in the past. Obviously very Asian inspired, and I love it. So in this one there is a girl named Jo, and she works as a lady's maid, but she also secretly runs an advice column under the pseudonym Miss Sweetie. Cannot wait. Like, that premise alone, enough for me to be like, I need it. Cannot wait to read it. So excited.
Awesome.
And the very last thing I got is because of my friend Rachel. She is one of my college roommates. We've actually known each other since we were basically children. It's a book called The Little Book of Skincare, Korean Beauty Secrets for Healthy Glowing Skin by Charlotte Cho. And I actually know the author because of Soho Glam, which is a site that I use when I'm referencing stuff for skincare. As I get older, it's something that I'm more and more interested in, and Rachel recommended this book, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it. And
May as well.
Now we've come to a very, very exciting portion of this haul.
And a great way to end the haul too.
Yeah, so I have been eyeing a couple of the things in this haul for a little while now, but I only took the plunge because of a very recent release from this company. So if you guys have heard of Juniper Books before, Juniper Books does very pretty editions of a variety of things, classics, YA series, different stuff like that, and they do both sell the actual books with their version of the covers and the jackets only. So I have been like debating what to do about it, and then I was like, you know what, I really want the jacket, so we're gonna do that. So the first one I'm gonna show you is the most recent one, because that is the sole reason I finally caved and was like, you know what, we're gonna buy the series. But for full effect, Mackie and I are gonna have to hold like half this stack of books each because it's too much. The real appeal of Juniper Books is that the spines all together tend to form an image. So when I saw how they did Throne of Glass, I was like, okay, listen, I'm gonna have to buy this because look at that. It has, oh my god, it's just beautiful. The imagery, the symbolism. It all looks so
This is the stag.
together.
Which stag is this? The
Stag of Terracin.
This is the Terracin stag.
If you look at the front covers of the books, it's more like old school because it's the pattern, and then at the bottom there's the title in font, and it also numbers them, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, see, it says book 1 of 8. I love them. Also, they feel very soft and matte, so I'm very excited about that. There's another set of theirs that I have been debating for a while, and I didn't buy them originally because I didn't actually have the hardcover editions of these books until Kristen decided that she didn't want to keep hers, and I was like, here, listen,
sure, we'll take
I will take all of those books. And that set, which Mackie can now show you, is for Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I love these books, the series.
There are icons for each and every single
This
book.
one actually has a pretty great like front cover. You can
That's
actually
true.
show them.
So the Lightning Thief has the iconic lightning bolt with the kind of in gold and sort of there.
Yeah.
And then here, I don't know what this is. Probably
It's like an eye.
It's like an eye,
Cyclops?
Cyclops eye
Maybe.
probably, and then there's like that Cyclops eye on the bottom of the spine.
Which, I mean, I'm here for it.
Pegasus right up the front, and
Which
right
is
up
appropriate
on
for
the
that
thing.
book.
Labyrinth, because that was what that was about. So there's Labyrinth up here, there's Labyrinth down there, and of course the final battle, which is
Empire State.
the Empire State Building, the Empire State,
So they
and even
look-
at the back, right? So very nice, very simple iconography, which I am so down for. And of course, you put them all together, it says Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Which is amazing.
I am living for that. What self-respecting book collector who, in this case, are kind of, you know, low-key Harry Potter
I
garbage.
think when Mackie says we're low-key Harry Potter garbage, what he really means is like love the world and the characters, but we're not necessarily, like, it's a different kind of being garbage than the Shadowhunters garbage. It is. Like, honestly, deep down in our bones, you know this and I know this.
That's true.
All that to say that I could not get this. I will hold half of it because I don't think there's any way that you can hold all of them. Gingerbread Books actually has a lot of different sets of Harry Potter. You can actually buy house sets from them that sort of look like leather bound, like house, and they're fancy and they're stuff like that. And I am like mildly invested in getting those one day. However, this set has the Hogwarts Express on it and Harry Potter in gold. Oh my god, had to do it. Like, there was no way we were not going to do
gorgeous.
this.
Like, look at that.
It like looks amazing.
Trying
Again,
to.
very simple fronts. It just has the title in this beautiful like gold foil font and the number of the book. It says book 4 of 7. But I love them.
Yeah, and the Hogwarts Express is
Hogwarts
literally the
trash.
symbol of you getting transported from the mundane world into the magical world. So there's the iconography around the Hogwarts Express is just insane. And you are right there with Harry every time. Like, that's the one thing that, like, you have a crap life, and then you get into King's Cross, you go through platform 93 quarters, and suddenly this is
You're
the
in this
ticket
beautiful magical
to
world.
awesome, right? And Harry couldn't wait, we couldn't wait. So yeah, definitely.
So I'm very
love that
excited
train.
to finally have the 3 sets of covers I really wanted from Juniper Books.
Thank you for watching through the haul. The Hogwarts Express was a great finishing touch, I'd like to think.
Yep.
It's pretty much that for this edition of, we'll name it some punny name as usual. But we're running out.
If you guys have suggestions, I mean, we'll take your
We'll take
suggestions
them, it doesn't matter.
and even shout you out.
Yeah, it's like, this
forgive-
one was from, and you get props
We're
for
trying very hard though.
that. Oh, I suddenly feel like there's gonna be like a whole wall of like haul puns.
Which will be amazing!
It'll be we can plan our next year. That'd be
It'll
great.
be adorable.
Wow, here we go. All right, so questions, comments, want to commiserate on a bunch of stuff, all on the comment section below.
See you guys with a new video soon.